I watched the Mets today. Let me say this. If the weather was a little better, and he got robbed, obviously, in the first inning by a brilliant play. Took a home run away from him. He could have easily had 3 or 4 home runs in the last couple of games. He hit every time he hit the ball, and I was surprised they pitched to him as much as they did, because if you look at that lineup, why would you ever pitch to him? Just put him on. Who else is going to do any damage? You got Bichette in front of him who can hit, and I'll tell you something, Bichette is hit in very hard luck all year. They gave a stat today that he's hitting more hard luck than anybody in baseball so far. He really has. He's had he's been robbed 8 or 9 times. I'm not worried about him offensively. And Soto has been unbelievable. To come back and he now looks like, he's ready to just tear the cover off the ball. And going out to the Angels and the Rockies and the Diamondbacks and getting good weather and everything else, he should get very hot. I don't think there's any question about that. He's already been hot. I mean, hit the ball hard every time up. He has a quality at bat every single time up. The guy is say what you want about him. The guy is a great offensive player. But, of course, they can't hold the lead. Weaver puts a changeup where he doesn't want to put it, gets knocked out of the park. They lose the game. Soto responds with a double. They can't get him home. It's just one thing after another thing after another thing. When you're going this bad, when you have a pitcher matchup today, where you have a pitcher on the mound for Washington whose numbers are so staggeringly bad that you wonder why he's even getting a start against the Peralta, this is a game that should be an absolute laugher. I mean, the Mets today, I looked at the odds before the game. The Mets were well above 2-1 favorites to win the game. Why? Because the line is based on pitching matchups. That's all it's ever based on. They don't take into account winning streaks, losing streaks. It's a perfect example. The Mets never win now, and they were heavily favored today because the pitcher was so abysmal for Washington. What happens? They don't make him pay when they could. And then, Peralta gives up a couple of runs, make a couple of bad plays in the field, and the next thing you know, they're down 3-0. They tie it 3-3. They get the lead, and then they blow the game. Okay. They're 10-21. The place is a ghost town. I don't understand what they're doing. Right? We know that we've seen teams already cut loose very, very talented managers, accomplished managers, including a guy that I've told you how highly I think of him as a manager, and baseball does too. I mean, there was talk today that he's already turned down the Philly job. There was talk today that he could have 5 job offers before the season's out. I don't know what his plans are. If I were the Mets, I would have already been, and I don't know if they have done or haven't made contact or don't have any interest or do have interest. I don't have any idea. You will not get your hands on a manager like that again. The generational manager. And they had no intention, I gather, from what I've been told by a friend of mine up in Boston, was that whole thing just escalated. It reminded me of the Tortorella thing years ago. Tortorella wasn't going to get fired that day, and then the next thing you know, he wound up getting fired. Things escalate. This was about changing his staff, and then it escalated into a lot more, and he wound up getting bounced with a lot of money on his contract. He's out of work only because he wants to take some time off. Let's just put him aside for a second, okay? What are you doing? If you are the Mets, it's May 1st. You have one of the highest payrolls in baseball. You were, even with the Yankees, as the second and third favorites behind the Dodgers to get to the World Series this year. Now, maybe that was an overreach. Maybe all of us thought the team was going to be better than it was. Okay, fine. Nobody thought the team was going to be like this. Yes, they've had injuries, but you know what? They brought in players that were injury prone. And they brought in players who, let's be honest, haven't been great lately. Except Polanco was, but he was injury prone. He hasn't played at all. And to me, Robert was already going south before he even went to the list. I don't like him offensively, never have. But here's the thing. What message are you sending to your fan base? Now, do I believe they're out trying to pick up a big stick? Yes. Because what are they going to do? Shut the season down? Obviously, they can put a guy at first base. They can put a guy in the outfield. They need a big stick. You know, there's teams out there that have guys on the contract that they want to dump the salary. The Mets can absorb anybody's salary. Do they want to? Do they have an appetite for it? I don't know. We'll see. Clearly, they're going to make moves. But what are they doing? How long can they let this thing continue? All right, they gave it a couple more days. Give it a couple more days. And it doesn't get better. It gets worse every single day. It's now May 1st, and they are 11 and a half games out of first place, and they are 10-21, and they've lost 17 of the last 20 games. And still nothing. And this is so patently unfair to the manager. Listen, we all know how baseball works. You can't get rid of the whole team. So what do? You change managers because you have to change something. We know there's been times you kept the manager and got rid of coaches. I was in Citi Field that night, or Shea Stadium that night, whatever it was at that day. I don't remember which. I think it was Shea Stadium at that time, if I remember right. But when they kept Bobby, made the change during the Yankee-Mets series, got rid of the coaches, and then went like 40-15 in the next 55 games. The bottom line is you have to do something. Now, if you want to if you're making a commitment to Stern's plan and to this manager, then come out and say it. I don't care what you're telling him privately. Come out and tell the public and the media, which is on Gallows Watch, and the critics and everybody else, what is going on. Because right now, all it is a watch as to what minute he's going to get bounced. If you have decided we're not bouncing this guy, we believe in this guy, we're keeping this guy, it'd be a hard thing to sell considering how he finished last year and what it's looked like now from last year into this year. But if you want to do that, you have every prerogative to do it. It's your team. Show some conviction. And come out and make a statement. He's our manager for the rest of the season. And if you don't feel comfortable doing that, then you need to change the manager. Put him out of his misery. I mean, the guy, you can tell day after day doesn't know what to come out and say anymore. I know everyone talks about it. I don't really know him. Just knew him to say hello to. I didn't know him. Everyone says he's a class act. Everyone says he's a good guy. Everybody likes him. Listen. That's not the point here. The point here is this is a dead team, a completely dead team that cannot continue along this path. Something has to be done. Statements have to be made, and you've heard nothing out of management. You've heard nothing out of the owner. You can't run and hide in New York during this kind of run.